What's happening, everybody? Time for another session of malt reviews. It's Mikey, I'm Narby.
What's up?
Keeping this thing going. We're going to be doing a very fine Macallan. Bring it a little close up for you guys for the bottle. This is a vintage Macallan, 1965 vintage. It's a 17-year-old, so it was bottled in Wait. It says 17-year-old. What does it say, 1984 there? Anyways, it's a 17-year-old, 1965 vintage.
Oh, because before the same month.
Got it.
Yeah.
Bottled at 43% ABV, bottled by the very famous Rinaldi importer. A lot of these Rinaldi vintage Macallans go for a fortune. This particular one, just from doing a quick search on a latest auction, it went for over $3,000. So if you wanted to acquire this bottle today, you'd be paying more than $3,000 out the door. So they're very, very expensive, and it's for a reason. The old style Macallan is just doesn't seem like it's coming back. You hear a lot of connoisseurs talk about it, some reviewers talking about it, depending on who you're listening to. Definitely is a different style, and Macallan being pretty much the most collectible whiskey in the world, these prices skyrocket. Not saying the bottle is worth $3,500, but it's great stuff, and it's highly collectible, and it's definitely different. We didn't, luckily enough, we bought this a while ago. We didn't have to pay that premium of a price for it, but we thought it was time to bring out a nice bottle of Macallan for you guys. And we brought this 1965 out. It's bottled 17-year-old.
And this is the essence of what the Macallan sherry casks have to offer, and especially getting into the older style of Macallan sherry casks.
And as you'd expect, it's aged in beautiful sherry, and it's got a rich mahogany color. And that's what you would expect. The kind of sherry casks that they were putting out back in the day were just so sublime. And they still put out really good sherry casks, but they just can't be as selective. The demand is way more, where you're not going to go hunting down your very, very best casks and bottle it and sell it for a fair price. These days, if they do that, they charge you like 20 grand.
Yeah.
So it's just not going to happen anymore. On the nose.
Mommy, look at this beautiful chocolate cookie.
I don't have the verbal capability of describing that funky, musky sherry, and you guys have seen us talk about this. We've done some other reviews, especially mainly like old sherry Springbank reviews. It's got that same thing going on, that really muskiness. It's almost like oozing, like a rich quality, like men's cologne kind of like rich smell, and it just brings up so much that I'm not capable of describing even.
I call it like old moldy sherry. So imagine like mold, like he said, like musk, mold, funk, musk, like in like humid, like where you have the sherry casks aging in this really dark, damp, humid, musky environment, and it penetrates the wood, and you just get those elements that enhance all of the typical, like say what you'd find in today's Macallan 18 or Macallan 25, all the typical sherry, dessert, and sweet, dried fruit, toffee, chocolate elements, but it adds this layer of complexity that was only available in the old school cask that you just can't get anymore. It's very special.
And normally mold would be a terrible thing, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't associate it with something tasty, but what he's trying to describe is it's so rich and intense, it's almost like a moldy goodness. It's hard to explain. So, millions of dark fruits, just so many that you can't even describe, just loaded and crystallized with this yummy, and it's got this candied element to it. Yummy candy gingers and lemon candies and just strawberries and raspberries and
Apricots, pomegranate seeds.
Everything.
Exotic.
Just so much. I pause and stutter almost because I know I'm not describing it to what it really is on the nose.
You know, almost any fruit you can think of.
Yeah, and along with that moldy, like dampy, like that muskiness comes with this rich cola flavor, right? That you normally don't get with the current style of sherried whiskeys. It's got this vinaigrette element to it. That vinaigrette
Oh, yeah.
word comes because it's so intense and rich, just like a vinaigrette would be from that rich sherry cask.
Yeah, because it almost has this like kind of fragrant acidity to it. Like when you smell a really strong aged balsamic vinegar. Like if you ever try like 15 to 20 to 25-year aged balsamic vinegar that you have in your salad, it's got this really strong, intense acidity to it, but it's fragrant, it's floral, and that's the elements, and it adds to all those flavors.
To say, it definitely has that like fig and chocolate and like caramel element to it, but it's so much more than that. I almost want to stay away from using those words, which are very commonly used by us and many other people that do reviews.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of rare, but like if you go to a really good Italian restaurant one time, they added to a appetizer. It was literally a 25-year aged balsamic vinegar.
Which restaurant? Carnivino in Vegas?
Carnivino in Vegas, baby. Right. And that's like literally what this is. And it's really hard to describe, but kind of like almost like the same, like the fig and chocolate combination, the balsamico, but the amount of age is just this complexity where it's not super strong. The acidity almost goes down and it leaves the deep, complex flavors of it.
And these red fruits, I say raspberry and strawberry all the time. It's just the two first things that I just know. The nose hits, and it's like a very candied, jammy red fruit, right? And it's oozing. And right away, I say strawberry and raspberry, but it's so much more than that. Like, it's so much more, and it's like fruits that don't exist, that I haven't even tried. But I could tell they're dark, rich fruits. You can just tell, right? It's kind of like a very, very dark strawberry, or a strawberry that's been sprinkled with sugar and it's been settling. You can tell it. If you close your eyes and eat it, you know it's a dark, rich fruit.
Yeah, just like strawberries that have been cooked for hours and hours and hours, like a really thick, concentrated compote version of it.
All right, enough talking. We could talk forever.
Wow.
We kind of wanted to describe how we feel, and you'll hear similar things when we try these older style sherried whiskeys. And eventually you'll get kind of familiarized with what we think of these and how we describe them on the palate. Stunning. Wow. So yummy. I need a moment.
Yeah. I'll say, we were talking about it before we started the review. The biggest thing about this when I first opened it, the nose was incredible. The nose was very similar to now. It has gotten better with air. But the palate was lacking. It almost tasted like watered down. It's
43.
It's 43%. So it has been watered down from cask strength, and you really wished it was cask strength. But I will say I haven't had this maybe in a year or two. And with air as well, the palate's actually gotten stronger.
Definitely.
And now the palate is much closer to the nose. So that's a wonderful, pleasant surprise.
And sometimes, let's be fair, we don't necessarily review everything or try everything in its perfect way. We should. But maybe we tried a heavy cask strength whiskey before.
Sure.
And then we had this and it felt a little light. It just kind of depends on the day. But yes, right now, where I would say, to my memory, this nosed like a 43% whiskey, and it on the palate, it felt more like a 38% whiskey, almost below 40%. But right now, and this is staying on par, it tastes like a 43% whiskey.
So.
Super creamy, super luscious, super fruity. You got that cola, you got that balsamico, you got that funk, that musky funk. That's just a kind of style sherry that just, oh my goodness, people had it good back then. It sucks that we have to pay so much money to try stuff like this in today's world. And then the finish is a little longer than I actually remember it too. It's not a super long finish. I'd call it like a high medium finish. More than medium along, but it's enough. It's enough, and it's great. It's just a really damn good whiskey.
Oh yeah.
One more sip.
Yeah, and again, I mean, of course, you want it in cask strength. It'd be even more than it is now, but the fact that it's much more like the 43%, I'm getting definitely a lot more oomph, a lot more strength on the palate, which I love, a lot closer to cask strength, and the flavors are much more in line with the nose. You're just getting endless amounts of fruits, deep, dark, rich, concentrated fruits that have been cooking in a pan for hours. You get that deep, deep, beautiful cola with just a slightly acidic balsamico and all those flavors that go with it. When you have that combination of everything and then a little tiny bit of the wood play, tiny bit of oak spice in the back, it's hard to beat, man.
It's too drinkable.
Oh yeah.
I could like drink a cup of this, like I drink milk after a brownie.
Oh yeah. That's how easy it is to drink.
It's dangerous.
It's insane.
Not fair. If this was 50% ABV, I think this would be like a 95.
Yeah.
But for me right now, it's a solid 93. That's an incredible score. 93 out of 100.
Yeah, and again, the nose is just launching it higher, but because of the difference, because of the 43%, I have to agree, 93. But again, it's relative to everything we've tried, relative to all the 95, 96, even 97s we've tried. So it's only because of that. Like if you haven't tried these other crazy whiskeys and you try this, you'll be like, this is the best whiskey I've ever had in my life. It's that good.
It's
so
really, really good.
Strong 93.
Absolutely, you guys.
It's unbelievable.
We'll make sure to review more high-end whiskeys like this. We'll make sure to bust out vintage Macallans and start sharing more full-size bottles with you guys, dipping into our collection. I know a lot of you guys want to see what we got, and we got a lot more. Stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, we'd appreciate it. And if you click the thumbs up button, that's cool too. We'll see you guys soon. Cheers.
Cheers.